What's up, y'all? The NBA season is back, and while teams continue to find their footing, our partners at FANATICS Sportsbook are already running championship plays. Bet with Fanatics and earn up to 10% fan cash on your bets, win or lose. So even if your bet misses, you're still scoring fan cash, which you can use on NBA gear, tickets, and exclusive Fanatics events. And with fair play, if your players go down injured in the first half, your bet stays live. Make the switch and get more ways to win with FANATICS Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to KFS Weekly Wagers. I am Shawn for W, and thank you for joining me today on this very cold December morning in the New York metropolitan area. But in Vegas, where it is not as cold, it is going to be hot tonight as the New York Knicks take on the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Cup Final tonight at, I believe, 8 or 8:30. I can double check that. Yeah, so before we dive in, let us do our... First of all, let me say this, and I've been saying this everywhere. If the Knicks win the NBA Cup, don't apologize for it. Don't let anyone try to tell you, oh, this doesn't matter, or you're celebrating, you're overdoing it, or this... No. The Knicks have not lifted a trophy since 1973 because... they didn't create the Eastern Conference Championship trophy until 2001. The Knicks last won the conference in 99. And there are no trophies to win your division. So the Knicks have not lifted anything since 1973. So I'll be damned if I'm going to be told it doesn't matter because, you know, super Celtic fan Bear 18 is going to make fun of me on Twitter. Right, so with that said, let us get into our weekly recap to recap how the Knicks have done. Let me do this, and then I will do. Where did this go? Hold on. This is live producing, nothing like it. Here we go. All right. So the Knicks against the money line, which is straight up 2-0 last week, beat the Raptors, beat the Magic. 18-7 overall, fourth best in the NBA, which means they have the fourth best record in the NBA. Against the spread last week, 2-0. So they covered both games. 17-8 overall. The Knicks are the best team in the NBA at covering the spread. They are number one. As I said last week, the Knicks win, they usually cover. There's been, as you see right there, there's been one game where the Knicks won and did not cover, or they lost and they covered. So, and the over-unders, they're 1-1. The game went under against Toronto, went over against the Magic, 13-12 overall. 16th in NBA, right in the middle. So there's no trend really for over-unders, but when it comes to the spread, if you think the Knicks are going to win, especially against a team they're favored against, where the spread will be like minus 140, 150, just don't bet the money line. Bet the spread because you'll get more money. So that's the Knicks betting trends for this week. Now, really quickly, let's go for let's review our scoreboard. So let's go to this one first. Okay. So Andrew is still in the lead with 56 points. I'm still second, 47. Jonathan 43, Jeff 39, and Mensa. Listen, shout out to Mensa because Mensa literally doubled his win total in one night in the Cup semifinal against the Magic. Mensa told you, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So you keep rocking out with Mensa. But you know what? When it comes to the best bets, and these are the picks that are available in the FANATICS Sportsbook app. We are, except for me, because I don't know how that happened. We are all over 500, especially John at 9 and 6. So again, keep rocking out with us, and we will continue to make you money. All right. With that said, let us get to how to cap today's NBA Cup final against the San Antonio Spurs. So the Knicks are. Let me pull this up really quickly. All right. So the Knicks in this game. Actually, where did it go? I had this. Yep, here we go. I want to show this one instead. So tonight the Knicks are -2.5. 140. Money line -145. The over under is 234. So last this was 230. This line went up 4 points overnight. I do not know why. I did not see any news about Deuce McBride playing again or anything like that. So maybe it just got steamed and people are doing it. These are the numbers according to our friends at Fanatics. And now let's get to these betting trends. So actually, before we do that, let's see if we can bring in my co-host, Mr. Mensa Smith. Is Mensa here? Mensa, are you there?
Am I here?
You're here, but you're frozen.
Here?
Now you're not frozen. Now you're frozen again.
Damn it.
Okay, now you're not frozen. But there's definitely a delay between what I say and when you hear me.
Yep, definitely. Well, I know what I want for Christmas. I'll say that.
All right. Let's try to get through this. Let's try to get through this this segment. So, betting trends. So I have up here the road splits because even though this is a neutral site game, obviously then each team has only played one neutral site game this year. So I'm looking at this from a road perspective because obviously both teams are on the road. Both teams had to travel. In fact, the Knicks, both teams, because both teams played on the road for their quarterfinal games. The Spurs played at the Lakers on Wednesday, and the Knicks played at the Raptors on Tuesday. So basically, both teams have been away from home for about a week. You see the Spurs 8-5 on the road, 8-5 straight up, 5-7-1 against the spread, over under 9-4 to the over, while the Knicks 4-6 on the road, which is nothing that not surprising to any Knicks fan. 3-7 against the spread, 4-6 to the over. But let's dive in a little bit here. So the Spurs this year, 7-3 against the spread, 7-3 as an underdog, which they are, 5-3 as a road dog. 8-7-2 after a win. They won Saturday. 7-3-2 with equal rest, and 4-2-1 versus the Eastern Conference. As for the Knicks, 16-6 as a favorite this season. They win the games they're supposed to. 3-5 as an away favorite, which is not great, but you can see basically every of their 3 wins against the spread on the road, they were all the favorite. 2-5 after a win, which I find actually. Let me double check that because I don't believe they're 2-5 after a win. Let me double check that. No, they're 12-5 after a win, not 2-5. I knew that was the wrong thing. 10-5 will equal rest, and 3-1 versus the Western Conference. So, I think Mensa is still having some issues, so we'll bring him back in when he's ready. So, all right, what am I looking for in this game? Shout out to my friends at the Hot Hand Theory, Jeff and XJ, because they brought up a very interesting point. And if you haven't checked out they have a video they released either yesterday or Sunday, about what to look for in this Cup final. And off the rip, XJ and Jeff both said, and I agree, the key is keeping the Spurs out of the paint. If you've been following Knicks basketball all year, you know that the Knicks have not done a good job of keeping people out of the paint. And the Spurs have 2 guards that are absolutely really good against the paint. One guy in particular who may be the quickest guard in the NBA, and that is Mr. De'Aaron Fox. So what I'm looking at here, I'm looking at first quarter points for the Spurs guards, especially. And I'm also looking at this game from two different perspectives. I believe the first quarter of this game will tell you a lot. If the Knicks cannot keep the guards out of the paint, it is going to be a very long night for the Knicks, and they're probably going to lose. Let's see how we're doing here. Mensa, Mensa's looking good. Keep moving around, Mensa, so I know you're not frozen. Okay, all right. You know what? We'll just work with it. We're good. It's a little choppy, but it's better than before. Okay. So, again, the Knicks. So if the Knicks do not keep Spurs guards out of the paint, it's going to be a long night, and the Knicks are probably going to lose this game, and they're probably going to lose by double digits. Because what is the other thing defensively that the Knicks do not do well besides keeping guards out of the perimeter? They love to give up lots of threes. And if Stephon Castle and if De'Aaron Fox are getting to the rim at will, they're going to spray out. And the Spurs, and when I was doing my research for NBA Takedown, I realized this, have a lot of good three-point shooters. So whether it's Wemby in the post spraying out or driving kicks from Castle or De'Aaron Fox, if they don't do that, listen, Harris Barnes might get off, Devin Vassell might get off from three, Julian Champagnie, because they're going to put it up. Like you saw in the Cup final, in the Cup semifinal against the Oklahoma City Thunder, they were putting it up. They didn't hit in the first quarter, but they were putting it up. So I'm looking at Spurs first quarter guard scoring. Honestly, so Fanatics doesn't have under betting for first quarter scoring. So look, I like the Knicks. I like money more. So Stephon Castle to score 5 or more points, or for De'Aaron Fox to score 5 or more points, or like plus. I believe Castle is minus 105, and Mr. Fox is minus 120. So I'm looking at that. And if they don't hit that number, there's probably going to be a good night for the Knicks. But if they hit that number, it might be a long night for the Knicks. So, Mensa, what is your trend for – what is something that you're looking for in this Cup final?
So, in this Cup final, I'm looking for the continued growth of Karl Anthony Towns on the defensive side of the ball. If you've been paying attention to our coverage here at Knicks Film School, or basically anybody who's been watching the Knicks, you would know that Karl Anthony Towns is one of the best defenders in basketball this season, with a defensive EPM above the 90th percentile. So we're getting really good basketball from Karl Anthony Towns. One thing that you can get is one block. You just need one good defensive possession from Karl Anthony Towns. You get one block. I think Fanatics right now has that at minus 115. Really love that for the New York Knicks. I'm looking at defensive props here because the way that Victor Wembanyama describes San Antonio basketball as ethical hoops, they like to pass that ball, right? And I do agree that their hoops are ethical, but because they play ethical hoops, the New York Knicks with Karl Anthony Towns in his 7'5" wingspan, OG Anunoby with a 7'2" wingspan, and Mikal Bridges with a 7-foot wingspan, I expect them to get their hands on some balls on the defensive side of the ball this game. So you can get OG Anunoby, I believe, to get one block. Again, I think it's at plus money right now. Or you can get Mikal Bridges. He's taken a downtrend in his steals and blocks. This it used the number like 2-3 weeks ago, like for 4 was at plus money. You wouldn't get 3 at plus money. I think right now, if you want to play OG Anunoby one block and Karl Anthony Towns one block as a parlay, you'd probably get around plus 300 odds. I think that's a really solid bet. But if the Knicks are going to win the basketball game, it's going to start with activity on the defensive side of the ball, and I think you can get some really good props there.
Karl Anthony Towns one plus block is minus 120. Mikal Bridges one or more blocks is minus 145. You parlay that is plus 180. I think that's a pretty solid number. So that's a good shout out. Because again, so we're kind of both on the same page here. If they don't keep them out the paint, it's gonna be a long night. If they don't defend, it's gonna be a long night. Again, shout out to XJ and Jeff, who pointed out that like it cannot be the the Matador D cannot be a thing tonight. They have to defend. Also, this usually, and I've said this before, the Knicks have tried to just outscore teams that have been successful at that more this year, and that's something that we have to get used to as Knicks fans because we always want defense. But I don't think this is the game where you say, all right, we're going to score 135, we're going to win, because they might be able to score 135 as well. Especially because the Knicks also, I've never seen a team give up so many transition buckets for made field goals. And these teams they're going to get out and run. So I don't know if getting to track meet against this team is going to be the way to go. So you may have to the Knicks will just have to be really good in defensive end. Keep the guards out the paint. Cat show up defensively. Bridges get, deflections, steals, whatever. And then that's how the Knicks can win this. That's how the Knicks can win this game. All right. Let us move on to future narrative. So, all right. So first, here are the Knicks posted futures. This is updated as of. Let's remove you and put you there. There we go. So the Knicks to win the NBA championship, they are fourth. They are plus 1,200. Last week they were plus 1,300, so they moved up a little bit. Not surprisingly. To win the Eastern Conference, they are now plus 290. Last week they were plus 270, so you're getting a little bit more value, but they're still first. And to win the division, they went from minus 175 to minus 320. This division bet is officially cooked. Me and Mensa have been telling you, and John have been telling you, when it was minus 140, minus 175, take this now, parlay this with something that you like. Now, the Atlantic division is cooked. And honestly, if it stays, I expect this to stay at plus. I don't think this is going below minus 300 for the rest of the season, which means we'll probably stop talking about division bets because I'm never going to tell you to bet on anything that is minus 320. Now, over-unders. So, again, 50 wins, that's cooked. Don't bet that. 55 wins is now minus 140. They're on a 55-win pace. So, if you really, again, now that you cannot bet the Atlantic division anymore, if you want to parlay minus 140 or something, and for 55 wins, go ahead, because this number's not going to get any better. 60 wins, plus 350. 65 wins is plus 2,000. Now, last week I told you all that if you believe the Knicks are going to win 60 games, that means that Jalen Brunson's probably going to be top 3 for MVP. And last week, Jalen Brunson was 100-1 to win MVP. Mensa, would you like to guess, after the Knicks go 2-0 and make it to the Cup final off the backs of a Jalen Brunson 40-point game against the Orlando Magic, where Jalen Brunson's MVP odds are now?
I would guess that Jalen Brunson's MVP odds have not shifted, and if they have, the shortest you're going to get is probably 80-1.
Would you believe if I told you that Jalen Brunson to win the MVP is between 250 and 300-1 now?
Honestly, yeah, I would believe that, just because the Western Conference is probably going to have the most, like, the guys. I think it's crazy. Don't get me wrong. And then with Cade Cunningham and the Detroit Pistons being in first place, and then with Victor Wembanyama essentially vanquishing the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Cup, I expect that their odds would shift up. But if you're getting it 250-1, take those odds, because the one thing that Mike Brown has started doing is he's starting to campaign for his player, Jalen Brunson, to win MVP. So the more that narrative builds, and with marquee performances like one that I'm expecting to get from Jalen Brunson tonight, these odds are just going to get shorter and shorter. 250-1 is crazy, but crazy odds means put a little money down. Don't parlay it. Just take it as a straight and watch those odds come down over the course of the season.
Real quickly, I'm looking at some MVP odds, and so first is SGA. He's around plus 125, whatever. Jokic is around plus 200. I'm ballparking here. Luka around plus 325, 350. He's between 300 and 400. And then after that, it's a drop off. And it's like Cade at 7,500, Wemby 150, whatever. It is insane that the best player on the fourth best team in the NBA by record, by point differential, by net rating, and the best player on the clear-cut best team in the Eastern Conference is 250 to 1. That's stupid. Go bet this now. If you don't live in a state where you can bet MVP, call somebody and have them place the bet for you. Do not give them your login information to do it because we don't promote that here. But hey, if someone wants to bet it for you in their app with their money and you send them the money, that's fine. But that is insane. That is insane. All right. Want to do one quick thing before we get out of here. I want to play a little game called What Do You Believe? So let me move this off of here. Okay, so every week NBA.com comes out with power rankings, a power ranking team. Right? So this week the Knicks are 5th in the NBA.com power rankings. And our friends at FANATICS Sportsbook have them as the 4th best odds to win the titles. I showed you at plus 1,200. I'm going to give you 2 teams. I'm going to tell you where their odds are, what their odds are, and where they're ranked. And then I want you to tell me what you think they are on the NBA.com power rankings. All right? So let's give you 2 teams. First team, the Detroit Pistons.
Detroit Pistons are probably 8th in the power rankings.
Okay.
Nah, it's probably a little low. Probably like 6th.
Actually, I'm gonna pull up the postseason futures so you all could see this here. So, actually, I'll full screen this. So you can see here, the Pistons are 7th
and 7th. Okay.
They're 7th to win the title. They have the 7th best odds to win the title. They're 4th in the power ranking.
Yikes. Detroit's not that good, people. I'm sorry. They have one shot creator. And once teams in the playoffs decide to take Cade away, and you have to watch Osar Thompson and Isaiah Stewart be in a non-violent basketball highlight, it's going to get rough for them. That's way too high.
So, I'm asking, are you saying that you believe the Fanatics rankings over the Pistons rankings? Over the NBA.com ranking? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
7 puts you like at outside if everything goes wrong for 3 other teams. You have a chance. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. The Cleveland Cavaliers, that's the team. They have the 6th best odds to win the title plus 1,700. Where do you think they are in the NBA.com power rankings?
Low. They haven't been playing well. I'm going to say 14th.
Close. They're 16th.
Okay. All right. So about league average. They've been struggling, oddly enough. I think they're just having a rough first half, which is weird for a team with as much continuity as them. They should be way ahead. But I do tend to think that they're closer to where Fanatics has them. I'm going to go with the Fanatics ranking at 5th best odds.
Yeah. So say all that to say, odds, yes, odds, especially futures odds, are shaped a little bit by narratives. Futures odds are a little bit more reactionary. Player futures are absolutely reactionary, which is why, listen, if the Knicks are suddenly on a 50-win pace, that Jalen Brunson number is going to go crazy, stupid, the other direction. But we also have to realize that narratives only push odds but so far, and narratives, whether they're on TV shows, on social media, the internet, by writers, media personalities, what have you, don't always reflect what the bookmakers believe. And you can find value in those instances. So, like, for example, I believe that there is absolutely value on the Knicks are properly equated, right? I don't think the Pistons aren't the 4th best team in the league. To me, doesn't mean they're bad, but not the 4th best team in the league. And the odds reflect that. Now, I do think that what would really, really be cool is if you get a team like, for example, I'm actually gonna look this up live, and this will be the last thing before we get out of here. The team that the Knicks are playing tonight, the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs right now are 7, 8. ninth at 2,500 to win the NBA title. Now, do I think they're going to win the NBA title? No. Do I think they should be above Detroit? Absolutely.
Yeah. Easily. Easily. So that, as we say, is value. So someone says I'm recording with my laptop, not the mic, which is crazy because it says I have the mic. No, I hear your mic quite fine in studio.
Okay. That's interesting. It says I'm connected on the mic. All right, let me try this. Okay, so yes. Don't let narratives determine what you're going to bet and not bet, because a lot of times you can find value betting against narratives, especially when it comes to the Knicks, because the Knicks, there are very few teams that have to fight over narratives as much as the Knicks do. That you can take advantage of. All right. So that's our show for today. Thank you all for pulling up and joining us. If you like what you're watching and you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to the Knicks Film School YouTube channel. So that way you can get alerts when we go live for like things like this, for all of our shows, after school, weekly recap, X's and O's, as well as any emergency live streams, like, if a player gets traded to the New York Knicks. If you want to listen to our podcast, make sure you subscribe, rate, review. Especially if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you leave us a review, please leave us 5 stars. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 stars. Follow us across all socials at Knicks Film School. That's SKOOL. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads. And if you want even more Knicks content, you can sign up to be a patron through the KFS Patreon, where you'll get extra episodes as well as access to cool things that we do behind the scenes. Or you can subscribe to our Substack so you can get John's newsletter, which comes out 5 days a week. All right, for Mensa, I am Shawn for W. Thank you for watching Knicks Nation's Let's Ride. And if you're out on your bike tonight, do wear white.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the FANATICS Sportsbook app.